Hello everybody. So today this is using the eBay API, the Finding API 2022 style. So if you've watched my other videos, thanks for watching those and showing an interest in all your comments. This is basically a Pandas and Jupyter Notebook version, and this video is intended for two sorts of people. One is Python developers and the other one is just eBay users, sellers, traders. So if you're an eBay trader and you think, oh, this sounds good, but I don't fully understand it, this code you will be able to copy. And as long as you can install Jupyter Notebook on your PC, you should be able to run this code. The one thing you will need to be able to do is to follow the steps to install pip packages with Python. Python comes with operating systems nowadays, so you don't need to worry about that. You'll need to do pip install for these packages, and the other thing you will need to go onto the eBay developer website and register for an application ID. Now, I can't really show that here because if I do it, then I'll give away my key. What I have got though is some screenshots. So let me just start before we get too far, just so you can work out if this is actually something you want to do or not. Let's just have a quick look at, if I can minimize this again. Let's just have a quick look at pictures. I think I've got a screenshot here. So, screenshot, there we go. When you register, you'll need to go to developer.ebay.com. Now, don't confuse this with your main eBay account. So if you, like most of us, buy and sell things on eBay, then you've got your own purchaser and buy a seller account. If you're a trader or if you actually want to use this API, then you will need to go to developer.ebay.com and register for this, and this is separate to your main account. So just because you've got an eBay account does not mean you will have this user token client ID, and I've just obviously hidden mine there. The one that I'll be using in this tutorial is auth and auth. The newer version, if you were writing a front end with JavaScript or something similar, you would use OAuth, new security. So yeah, this is just a screenshot, and yeah, developer.ebay.com. Follow the steps. You'll want a production token or application ID. Once you've got it, it will be where this green text is, and then just drag the mouse over it, copy and paste that into a notepad or a text file, and then we will be good to start writing some code. So yeah, just to go over some old ground, these are some of my previous videos. This one was very comprehensive. I wrote that yeah, so coming up for a year ago, and it should still be valid. It was written using VS Code and Python, well, an IDE, an integrated development environment. Whereas this one, this is just using Jupyter Notebook, and hopefully it's easier to understand, or just I don't know, but hopefully this. Also, I just wanted to do this just to prove it still works. Many videos on YouTube kind of go past the sell by date, and a year on you think, oh, is that still relevant, or has something changed, and do I want to start going down that rabbit hole, and then after an hour testing it or banging my head against a brick wall just give up? So this, as of February 2022, definitely works, and I'm going to show you it working. So without further ado, let's start looking at the code. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to do pip install eBay SDK. So let's just make this a bit bigger, and I'll just zoom in one more time. There we go. And I'll just hide the toolbar. Right, there we go. So pip install eBay SDK, or pip3 to be. If you've got a slightly older computer, you may have Python 2 and Python 3, in which case you may need to tell your computer to use version 3 whenever you do anything. So be on the safe side, use pip3 install eBay SDK. That goes off to eBay and gets their API wrapper for Python. Then this I've done, if you're doing this just for yourself and you're not going to share it with anybody or upload the code anywhere, then you won't need to do this. So everything to do with .env is for hiding your API key, and obviously I'm doing this as a tutorial, so I need to hide it. And if you're going to do this and save the code on GitHub, for instance, you don't want your API key being out in the wild, so to speak. So we'll cover that more shortly. As always, well, nearly as always, for Jupyter Notebook, it's very common to use Pandas, so that's another package that you may need to install. If you get an error that says an error about Pandas, then you can do pretty much as you've done here. So you'll do pip3 install, and then instead of eBay SDK, you would type Pandas. So install eBay SDK, install python.env, install Pandas. Once you've installed these three that I've just mentioned, these two will definitely work because you'll already have the SDK installed. And import OS, that is a built-in Python library, so you don't need to worry about that. So these three you don't need to worry about because they will just happen automatically. So it's that one, which you may or may not need depending if you've ever used Pandas before, and these two, and in particular this one if you've not used the eBay SDK before. So it's a bit like building a house, and you want to build the eBay house, so you need to go off and get some eBay bricks. I don't know if that's a very good metaphor, but anyway, right, next, from .env, import load_.env. So you got the .env, which if you create a text, well, you will need to create a text file. Now, Windows users probably aren't used to this, but if you're familiar with Mac OS X or Linux, you'll be familiar with hidden files, which don't have anything to the left of the full stop, shall we say. So the file name begins with the full stop, and then it's just the three-letter extension, and the file will be called .env. And you can create this if you're on Mac, or you can use Nano, Vim, Gedit, Sublime Text, whatever, but you just need to make a file with a .env file extension, and within that file you will then just need to put on the left, you'll put API key, or that's what I've called mine. You could call it my key, as not my key. Then you do equals, and then you just put the key, no quotes by the way, not in an env file, so it literally is API key, and then an equals, and then the string which I just showed on the eBay developer screenshot that I'd drawn a green rectangle around. Just for my benefit, I did print get current working directory, and I just checked my Python version. So I'm using Python 3.8.10 with Jupyter. Make sure you put 3 there, because if you don't, you might get Python 2.7 and you'll think that it's running 2.7, but it's not. Chances are you will be running Python 3 by default. This code, so slight admission, this code I've actually, I wouldn't say copied, but I've based mine on. So if you've come across some code on the internet and you run it and it gives you deprecation errors, well, this, as of February 2022, I've replaced the old code with the updated code, so you should not get any deprecation errors. As time goes by, especially with a framework, you will see, especially on in Jupyter, you'll get when you run the code, you'll get a pink colored rectangle with a bit like some advisories. So all we're doing here is we're just saying maximum rows 500, display maximum rows to display is 500. There's whole separate tutorials on using load.env, so I'm not going to go into that here. I did one a while back as well, so either YouTube or Google and you'll see that. But really just create a blank file and just put API_key, then the equals sign, and then just paste in the key that you got from eBay. Good, right, so this is now the function. So the first function, get_results, and it's taking the the parameter payload. Payload is whatever you want it to be, so forget about Python for the time being. This is a JSON dictionary, or basically it's a pair of curly braces with some keywords, the category ID, a filter, and a sort order. So this is obviously fairly plain English and easy to understand. So the keyword you want to search for is Samsung, or that's what I'm searching for. If you want to search for an iPhone, then just here you would change that to iPhone. The category ID, now I just need to show you another screenshot, because this that I've highlighted here, the 80053, is particular to Samsung monitors. So if I can, let me just shrink that back down and show you some screenshots. Here we go. I've done a screenshot, because with a screenshot I can zoom in on the URL, whereas with a browser you can't really. So so I'm searching for Samsung monitors, and I'm sure there's a PDF and some documentation, but one of the easiest ways just to get the you can see it on the screen now. So you see the 80053 that I've highlighted with my mouse here and towards the bottom of the screen inside the payload. That actually, I got that from the URL. If this sounds a bit complicated, what you really need to just do is look in the address bar, look at what you're searching for, or this gets generated by whatever you search for. So if you'd gone to search for iPhones, it would, in this section here, it would say iPhones. Then you would have a / and then you'd have a number. So whatever that number is what you need to put in here. So all I'm really doing is I'm matching, in my payload, I'm matching the words that I've searched for manually. And because I'm in the UK or Great Britain, whatever you want to call it, the located in. So the things you would need to change is that one, that one, that one if you're in the US, well, wherever else if you're not in the UK. And I've just sorted them by start time newest. Again, refer to the eBay documentation because it's very comprehensive. So you can, yeah, you can find many more options if you look at the SDK documentation. So this function uses this payload. So payload here goes into this function when the functions run. So don't worry about the fact that this is actually below the function. It doesn't matter because the function's not actually being run until this line. So when what we're doing is we're creating a new variable called results, and we're saying run this function called getResults, which is this function here, and use the payload, and the payload is what the eBay API is actually performing its search with. So API.execute, so it's obviously creating an instance of its API class, and then it's saying it wants to find the advanced items using Samsung as a keyword, the category is 80053, and so on. So hopefully you get the idea there. So we've got a function, we've got a payload, and then we're running the function, and we're passing the function inside these brackets, we're passing the payload. Good, next. Right, so once we've got all that, we've got a variable called results, which we can then pass to a function called get underscore total underscore pages. And what we're going to do is we are going to find how many pages of results we have. Once we know how many pages of results we have, we will be able to parse it. So the other function we have, so we've defined the payload, we've got our results. Once we've got our results, we know how many pages. Once we know how many pages, we can then use this function to actually search eBay and build line by line, get each result. So as you see, get total pages from the function we just looked at, total pages, and then we've got a while loop that says, well, until we get to the end of all of our pages, what we're really doing is we're loading up payload with that as that's the keyword, that's the value. Then we're going to say 100 results equals get payload. So again, we're just getting the results payload and setting that as a variable. And then what we're going to do is use extend with our list, and we're going to basically keep adding the item to our list. And then we will say pandas, make us a data frame where the columns are item, title, so on. And then for each item in our items list that we've just made up here using extend, so we start with an empty list, and for every iteration we'll keep extending and adding to that. And then once we've got that list, we'll go back through that list and we'll say for each item in that list, make us a row. And then with each row we will then previously, or if you're more used to just using Python by itself, you would use append to a list. However, if you do that, as per this advisory, you will get a deprecation error, as mentioned a few minutes ago. So to get rid of the deprecation error, what you want to do is you want to say the new data frame, this is just like a temporary variable, equals pd.dataframe row. So all of these values from the first item in our response, we will load up the item's ID and store it in a variable, the title, store it in a variable, so on. We'll create a one row data frame, and then we will concatenate that with our existing data frame, and we'll keep doing that within the while loop until the while loop is equal to the total number of pages. So until you've used up all your pages. Similar to web scraping, really, you just keep going until you get to the last page. At the end of all that, once the while loop's finished, we then have a data frame of everything. And yeah, obviously I've run it already. You can see 3 results, so I didn't actually need to check all those pages. But just to do some live coding, it'd be boring if it was just me talking about this. So let's see if we can do a search on something else and get a few more results than just the 3 that I've got there. So sorry, just excuse me, my coffee's getting cold. Thank you. What are we searching for? iPhone is what everybody searches for. Let's not do that. Let's search for any ideas? Let's keep it IT related and fairly safe ground. Let's search for keyboard. Hopefully we'll get lots of results for this. And lots of pages. Oh, why is this? Okay. Right, forget about IT stuff. Let's search for guitar. Guitar. And I'll show you where to find. So, wow. Million results. Maybe that's too many. Let's try 12 string guitar. That should narrow it down. Okay, 5,200 results. 12 string bass guitar. I'm just doing this. It's not because my code doesn't work, just because I didn't want the demo to take forever. So, right. So that's our search, and the item ID. Take back what I said about it being easy to find the category from. Okay, so guitar. So we want the category. Okay. How do we get the category? Category. Let's go to advanced. And no, that doesn't help. No. Oh, is it 619? SCH/619. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to search for this. I'm not even going to put in the category. I thought I'd just actually do this I'd do this live rather than just kind of all prepared and then say it's easy. And that's the problem when people do tutorials. They just say, you do this, do that, and then it all works. And that's not always true, is it? So instead of Samsung and category ID, I'm going to take that out and just run it and see what happens. And let's sell run all. Do you see? Just okay. We've got an error. And pretty sure that is because we have no category ID. Let's try just for lols, let's run it, but with the wrong category ID. Pretty sure that will give an error. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically it's not finding any items. So let's go back up here and category. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting this to happen. Category. We've got category down here as I'm scrolling. Let's actually go into a product, and I think that was where I've. Yeah. Let's try this from the actual item. I think I was trying to do it from get the that's the item no, is that the item? Right, let's try it. No, that's too long for a category. Okay, let's just instead let's search for eBay categories for list. There we go. Should have done that to start with. Sorry about that. eBay categories full list. List of all eBay categories. This is not even an eBay site. Let's go back. Not eBay category, shop by category. Hobbies, collectibles. Yeah, there we go. Right. So, what is the category for hobbies? guitars and basses. Ah, is this? I think here we go. 3858. I hope you fast forwarded through all this. Right, let's run it again. Run all. If it finds no results, it may still give us an error. I don't know. Well, that's worked anyway. I don't know what would happen if there were no results. So yeah, just to clarify, what you saw what I did there. You can rewind, but yeah, I went up. I clicked on guitars and basses, and then once I got as far as kind of the category on this page, then I just picked out. So I think in general the categories look like they're 4-digit category codes. That would sound about right, wouldn't it? There's only so many categories you can have in the world before everything is either a hobby, a motor vehicle, piece of clothing. I would think that's probably enough categories to. Right, so what have we got? We got item, title, URL, gallery ID, location, payment method, listing type. Oh, so some of these are just nans, which means not a number. So in a future video, I think what I'll do is I will actually pass this, and we'll do some sort of transformation on some of this data here. So you go listing type, fixed price, cash on pickup. So already we've got a data frame anyway. So that's all the products for today, 123. I'm not going to go into how to save this as a CSV file or whatever. You can find that out elsewhere. This really is a video about using the eBay API, the finding API in March 2022. And yeah, install the eBay SDK and you're off to the races really. So this code I'm going to put on GitHub. You'll get a link to it. If you don't know what Jupyter is, or if you've got Conda installed and you don't really know how that works, and you just want to run this code in Atom or Sublime Text, then really you could just copy. What you could do is you could merge all the cells. So no, you couldn't, because you wouldn't have Jupyter running. Well, what you need to do is just copy this code. Just copy the. So wherever you got the numbers is Python code. Don't worry about the out. The out in red is the output. So if you just want to copy this into, say, Sublime Text, you could do something like. Oh, I won't do it all here because it'd be boring. But what you do is just come up here, and then you would just. What's going on there? I think I've made a error. Did I whilst I've been talking, I've accidentally. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so what you do is you just copy that, paste that in there, copy that. Yeah, just Control C, Control V, and you paste in all the code. There's about 7 or 8 lots. So yeah, just click in there, and there you go. Just Control C, Control V, and then you just file, save as, and save it as a .py file extension, and then you run it as a normal Python file. You can run it in Sublime Text, Atom, whatever your favorite editor is, or IDE. So there we go. Hope that's been interesting. Yeah, thanks for watching. It's kind of like an update, and I would say probably an easier to read version compared to my video last year. This really is just kind of like a one-page script just to get one thing from one category, and it's using the finding API. So yeah, a little bit of pandas in here. What we did was we concatenated 2 data frames. So if you've not used pandas before, yeah, feel free just to copy and paste this. You don't need to know the Pandas framework in great detail. And if you are a buyer or seller or professional eBayer and you just want to use this code without really becoming a Python developer, then hopefully you can copy this code and really change what you're looking for. And as long as you can find the category code, which which I showed, then you're off to the races, really. If you want any help with the API key side of things, then drop me a comment. I can either point you at an earlier video that I did with the load.env, or I can kind of just advise you on how to sign up. With the other API, such as but there's other eBay APIs, so this is the finding one. So be aware that there are other ones, and this tutorial is only about the finding API for Python. Now, I think somebody had a good comment the other day saying, is this the same as the PHP API? It would be the same, because effectively under the bonnet it's using a GET request to the same endpoints. So yeah, the answer is yes, it's the same. So thank you for watching, and I'll put this code on GitHub. I'll put a link to it in the comments. Thumbs up, like, and just before I go, obviously CodeMonkey King, if anybody's familiar with his channel from watching mine, yeah, thoughts with him. Don't know, obviously there's probably it's probably not possible to access the internet or whatever at the moment, so yeah, until we hear from him, then please watch his videos, hopefully get his views up, and yeah, get him some revenue for his videos on YouTube. And yeah, I'm sure everybody wishes him the best, and yeah, fingers crossed. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with something else. So yeah, in the meantime, have a nice day.